This is the April 9th Transit Technical Advisory Committee. And let's go ahead and get started with introductions. I'm Dana Trey with SCTCA, and I'll pass it over to Charles.
I'm Charles Smith with Sonoma County Transit.
I'm Rachel Eid with Santa Rosa City Bus.
Kathleen Solon from Marine Transit.
Jared Hall, Petaluma Transit.
Emily Betts, Smart.
Chris Barney, SCTCA.
And in the back, introduce yourselves.
Margot Finance Transportation Planner, CA.
I'm Pete Leskier, I'm the principal of Leskier Engineers, and I'm here on behalf of the transportation committees of the Marquess Municipal Advisory Council and the County Alliance, with an interest in how local transit will work with SMART.
Cool.
I have some ideas about that. I'm here to listen to words.
Excellent.
Online, we have. So introduce yourself, we just have a couple.
Sure. Adam Garcia, data analyst, SCTCA.
Jacob Brown with Golden Gate.
All right, thanks everyone. Are there any comments on items that are not on the agenda? Okay. So let's move on to item number 3, approval of the meeting notes from March. Does anybody have any comments or corrections on the notes?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All right, any opposed? None, that passes. Thank you. Moving on to regional funding, we have the Transportation Fund for Clean Air Program of Projects. And this is an action item. Turn over to Margot.
Good morning, good morning. As you may remember, this year we had a conversation towards the beginning of the year about amending the programming criteria for this round of 25-26 TFCA. Lots of acronyms in our world. And we had conversation in this group. We also had conversation with the TAC. And we appreciated all the good input. We did receive approval from the board to move forward with piloting a year of 100% fully competitive. So we launched our call for projects on March 10th. We subsequently received 4 applications, 2 transit related, 1 from Petaluma and from the county. And similarly, 2 active transportation or bike facilities oriented projects from Petaluma and Santa Rosa. We had, of those 4 competitive grants, we had a gap of about $51,000 that was remaining relative to what was fully available. So we applied that, which has not been unusual in past years, to the Sonoma Commute Program. So we have hit our $655,869 of available funding, and happy to provide any details about the projects if you would like. That material is in your packet, and we'd like to request your recommendation to go forward to the board, but happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Thank you, Margot. Are there any questions or comments from the group?
You're making my morning very easy.
Right, well then, if there's no questions or comments, we would look for a motion, and again, this is a recommendation to our board of the program of projects that's before you.
I motion approval of a recommendation of the board to adopt it.
I'll second. We'll just flip this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh, sorry, any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, great. So moving on to item 5, under planning, we have the Sonoma County Travel Model Transit Network update. And Adam Garcia will share some information with us.
All right, hello everyone. So just providing an update. As many of you know, we are updating our Sonoma County travel model to reflect existing conditions from 2019 to approximately 2023. The travel model is used to evaluate large land use projects, major area plans, general plan updates. So it's a helpful analysis tool to understand the impacts on our transportation system. One of the big parts of this work has been is actually one of the easier parts, I should say. Thank you for that. Has been updating the transit routes from our 2019 model to more reflecting current standards based off what we have available. So not necessarily 2023, but what's going on from your websites and from the general transit feed specification as well too. So what I wanted to share was just, sorry I didn't have time to put this in the agenda, but we can make this available afterwards, is just a quick listing of the different agencies and the routes, how they've changed. So as they serve Sonoma County. So can show you just a few of these and we'll again make this available. But Golden Gate Transit, for instance, how we can read this chart is that we have really looking at kind of the more regularly scheduled routes that have a larger impact on travel. So the 101, for instance, we have the areas served. So there's, some abbreviations for the different cities. How many days a week? Is it daily or is it just work day, Monday through Friday? And then peak and off peak, and then just any adjustments that we might have noted for the route changes.
Adam, could you make your screen a little bit bigger?
Even bigger, sure. Let's see. How's that?
Better. Thank you.
Good. Okay, for sure. Thank you. All right. And so then in other cases, though, we can see where there's the routes no longer served, so we've taken it out of the model. There's also the exception where when there's only 2 trips a day or less, then we exclude that from the model. It doesn't quite have significant enough of an impact on our numbers to be able to show movement of people very well. So we're really limiting it to those kind of more regularly scheduled routes. So in scrolling down, we can see Mendocino Transit. They have one route that comes daily. You can see the peak, is 480 minutes. That's quite a long, so it doesn't really make sense to include that. Napa County Vine no longer serves. It's good to know that at some point there was that, though. And then again, looking down, we have Petaluma Transit, Santa Rosa's, City Bus. And then wrapping up with Sonoma County Transit below. So happy to go through if there's any specific questions. Otherwise, again, we can make this available. And so the way to read this is that, what's, most important are really kind of the peaks and off peaks. We've gotten our routes updated, which if you want to look into those as well, we can maybe send along a map if you'd like to see the changes. Otherwise, the chart should hopefully be enough. If there's a difference in, say, the peak and off peak that you notice, or even days a week that needs to be updated, please let us know. Those are easy things we can just plug into the model and update for your guidance. So I'll stop there and see if there's any questions from the group.
Yeah, I have a question on those two Golden Gate routes that are excluded. They're just
Mhm.
two portions of the base Route 172, basically. So,
Mhm.
right, is at the peak of the peak, it's so busy that we have it separated. Is there a way to just model that as a 172 trip? And so you capture those additional two trips?
Yeah, we can look into that. It would have to, we'd probably have to lower the peak number here. If you have a recommendation, I'd be happy to look into that. Otherwise, I can try to see how that could work.
Yeah, it's just, at the, 4 and 5 PM trips leaving from the city, for example, instead of a 172, we run a 164 and a 172X because there's more people.
Mhm.
So maybe you just model it as the service is every half an hour. I don't know if that makes a big difference in the end, but just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the feedback I'm looking for. Thank you. That's a great suggestion. Chris and I'll look into that.
Yeah, and Adam, I'll just add, if you can send out that, those charts to all of us, that'd be great. We'll just take a quick look and make sure we don't have any other questions.
Okay, will do.
I have a question. How often do you update this?
So we update this about every 3 or 4 years, the whole model. So the last one was base year was in 2019. Our new base year will be 2023. So it's a way to just try to keep, the data as accurate as it can. It's quite an effort to do the existing conditions update. A lot of other agencies outsource this process. It's something that we keep internal. So it can be, somewhat costly. And then there's a validation process as well that to have to go through. So all in all, it's about 4 years.
Just as an FYI, if mascots goes into effect, it will have substantive changes and it's slated to go into effect about a year from now. So that just as an FYI.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. If there's significant enough changes to the system, I think that's something that we would absolutely be able to fine tune and adjust to reflect the current conditions. I know, transit has a huge effect on evaluating affordable housing and other projects. So being able to keep that accurate, would be important for us and you guys.
Thank you so much, Adam. Are there any other questions? Yeah.
All right, thank you.
We will move into transit integration updates. And so for the local bus operators, over the last month, we have continued the work on the website integration, focusing on the Sonoma County Transit and Petaluma Transit websites. Started to talk a little bit more about what that single landing page will look like, but we're maybe another month out before we really get into that. We've also had some discussions about the MTC's transit action plan, action for a single mobility manager for each county, and kind of just discussed a bit about what that, could possibly look like. Also the plans that the County Area Agency on Aging has for a mobility management role, which is, kind of, it doesn't exactly cover all of what is in the transit transformation action plan. And so just kind of started some discussions, which I think will be continued about that. Also anticipate having the Area Agency on Aging present on the new role that is coming out of their 5310 grant for the mobility manager at the next transit paratransit coordinating committee meeting. So hopefully they're ready for that discussion there, and we can talk a little bit more with that group about kind of what role that fills and what the other needs are for kind of a centralized mobility manager. Yeah, we've also had some, discussions about the local Sonoma County bus route changes that will feed into mascots. And I think that is mostly it. We also have reviewed data from the transit app kind of over the first year of the enhanced service. And it seems to be that there's quite a lot more usage and a lot of active engagement in it. So that was good to see. And I think that's it. Unless anybody has anything else to add. All right. Any questions? Then let's move on to the regional meeting report out. And we do have a couple announcements related to regional meetings that I will turn over to Chris, and then we could go through other regional meetings.
Yeah, just wanted to give a heads up on a couple of things. So MTC is going to actually be at the next technical advisory committee meeting in April to talk about the transit bi-roading policy for roads. So I think you've all probably heard a little bit about this, but it should be an interesting conversation with the public works folks on, how they feel about the process. So I'd encourage you, if you're interested and would like to comment and be part of that discussion, to attend the next TAC meeting in April. They're also planning on presenting that information to the planners in May as well. So we have submitted a few comments on, the draft recommendations. We sent those to MPC. We've also heard from some local public works folks about potential conflicts with active transportation as well. So, we think there's a way through all of this. But yeah, that should be a good discussion at the next TAC meeting. So we're also holding a workshop, a joint workshop between the TAC and PAC next week, focused on the transit-oriented communities policy. So our PAC members have really been working hard on getting into compliance with the TOC policy. It's tied to OVAC 4 funding and potentially other regional funding sources as well. So MTC will be at the workshop to talk about the TOC policy overall, what it means to be in compliance, and to talk about and present on the draft scoring criteria. So they have some formulas and kind of scores associated with different factors that they'll be presenting on and receiving feedback on. We'll then have a discussion about the OVAC 4 timeline and funding approach, both from MTC's perspective and SEPA's perspective. So that'll be kind of the second discussion item at that workshop. And then kind of to wrap everything up, we'll be having a roundtable discussion on where each of the jurisdictions are at. So what progress they're making at getting into compliance, what difficulties there have been, what help they could still use to make progress in certain areas, and share information about, things that have been working well. So there are 4 general areas that will be discussed in that part. One are the residential and office densities. There are the housing and commercial policies focused on production, preservation, and action. Parking management is one of the topics. And then station access, so transit station access. So those are the 4 areas. So a number of the jurisdictions have received technical assistance to help with this, but that's not happened yet. So we'll have a good discussion on where everyone's at and what is still needed. So yeah, looking forward to that. That's a virtual meeting on Zoom. So I believe all of you should have received invitations if you haven't and would like to attend. Participate. So that's April 17th from 9 to 10.
Great.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Any other regional meeting report outs anybody would like to share? Quiet on the transit 2050 plus front. Okay. All right, then we'll jump into transit operator updates. So far?
Sure. We've received good feedback on the change we made to our Route 20 to connect with the SMART train.
Awesome.
So, yeah, we've been getting emails of passengers who are very happy about it, so
So
that's going well. We've got the,
That's great.
yeah, it's great. We've got the schedule changes coming up in June with school being out and everything like that. Continuing to make progress on our charging project at our facility. Anticipated completion date should be sometime in May. Pretty close. Got the everything pretty much in place. I'm just waiting for everything to get tightened up. So hopefully that's on board soon. It'll be really exciting to turn everything on. We've got 2 BYD 35-foot buses scheduled to be delivered in September. So that's going to be good. And also 6 cutaway vans should be delivered in August, 4 for paratransit and 2 for fixed route. Besides that, we just completed our GFI upgrade. So that was pretty intense, but also exciting. So with the new upgrade, it'll allow our system to work with our old fare boxes, the Sensibill fare boxes, the Odyssey fare boxes, and then the new fast fare boxes that we'll get with the new buses. So lots of new updates, and that's about it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
All right.
I have a couple things that, and I may have talked about one of them last month, but I can't remember. So we're about to award the contract for design of our phase 2 charging infrastructure at the city yard. So that's exciting that we're moving forward with that, and that'll be coordinated with an EV fleet application. So, you know, you all know the complexities involved there, but excited to see that program moving forward, or project moving forward. We're just bringing our new scheduling software online. We're going with Remix, which is pretty exciting, and we'll keep you all posted on how that goes. But Matt's like as excited as a scheduler can be about having some new tools at his disposal. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then the other item, this is sort of an update, but also a question. So, you know, we've had a good year for ridership. We've been up about 9% year over year without, you know, adding any service. And but what we've really seen is a flattening out that's been pretty significant in February or March. And we're wondering if this might be attributable to immigration enforcement fears in our community and among our ridership. So don't need to answer now, but I'm just curious whether any of the other agencies that serve, you know, large immigrant community ridership have seen similar impacts on their systems, because it's market change in February and March.
Is that mostly based on like anecdotal from drivers, or?
Oh, just our total system ridership was up 9%, and now it's not as of February. So it was a big drop off. So just, you know, it's interesting. It's a question, something we're noticing, that nothing else has changed in the system. There's not a lot of other things we could point to, except that perhaps a concern that, you know, some folks are feeling less comfortable being out and about, and maybe reducing their trips. So, you know, it's just curious whether anyone else is seeing a similar trend, but we can discuss that at a later time. That's all I had for today.
Thank you. Kathleen?
I think a few things that are maybe relevant. Our board just approved yesterday a change to what we had been calling our Catch-A-Ride program, which was taxi and TNC subsidies. So we are moving to a mobility wallet we're working on setting up a card that's gonna be just for low income individuals who are over 65 or ADA. So it's for our Marin Access program. And that'll start July 1st. So it is, there are gonna be some folks who will no longer have access to we're like tapering off the people who are currently participating over about 6 months. But that was a pretty big deal, and that will be, we're interested to see how that mobility wallet model works, because it's a much more user choice model.
Yeah.
And hopefully a lot less paper voucher processing. It is 2025 after all. We are moving forward with a drop fare box procurement, so we are moving away from GFI, hopefully by the end of the year. With the arrival of Clipper, if it ever arrives. And so we are gonna be probably putting out that procurement in the next month or two. And hope to have those on board by the end of the year and switch away from GFI. We did get, just for FYI, although there's a Clipper meeting, but it sounds like Clipper is delayed at least until July, maybe later. FYI,
Clipper too?
Clipper too.
Does that include totes? Do you know what the totes would roll out then?
Yeah, so we did ask that the other day, Clipper, so the new CSTs, customer service terminals, which are the new totes. Are not backwards compatible, so they are not going to send them out until Clipper 2 launches.
So July at the earliest, sounds like.
Ours is on its last legs.
Yeah.
Like all the ones in the region are, they've been
Yeah.
cannibalized with parts so many times, yeah, they're all struggling along.
So yeah, apparently they can't roll them out because since they're not backwards compatible, you can't. Yeah.
We can't even get ours fixed because they don't have a spare to give us. I'm sure we all know this story.
They were gonna take ours and give it to another agency. We fortunately were able. to-
That's right.
Yeah, but we still have one.
So anyway, okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't have any other our ridership's been pretty good. I don't actually know. I'd have to check on the drops, if there's been a real drop, but I don't think so.
Mhm.
But we usually report 2 months in arrears, so we'd have to look at the
Yeah.
more recent data, sort of ad hoc.
Yeah.
So, but as of January, we were still kind of.
Yeah, January was good. It was really February that we
Oh,
noticed a
yes.
difference. And this is total speculation. It's just something that we were curious whether there would be an effect. And then we saw this ridership dip. We were like,
Yeah.
wonder if there's connection.
Yeah. There was a lot of weather.
Oh, there's a lot of weather too. Good point. There's a lot
We
of
had
weather.
I feel like we had a very rainy
Yeah, I think so.
February
Good
at
point.
least, maybe into March.
True.
All right, thanks. Jared,
By the way, is anyone feeling that vibration throughout the whole meeting or is it just me?
you know, sometimes the HVAC system
Okay.
over on this side.
Can see
it
my phone,
shakes
it's
a bit.
No, not crazy. So for January ridership, we're up 16% on fixed route. Very preliminary numbers is down 3% February, up 7% March. So I'll talk to our kind of operators that get more kind of anecdotal what they think causes maybe or what they've seen. I would probably guess weather first and foremost would be my guess as well.
Yeah, especially we saw a rebound in March. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did not.
And then for January, paratransit was up 23%. Lumigo, we had our record ridership day on April 4th, 127 people. So we continue to see increased ridership there. It's starting to level off a bit. We get the sense, which is you want ridership to keep increasing, but in terms of the vehicles we have available, the service levels, it's actually fitting in well. We're running 2 service vehicles now, peak times on weekdays and on weekends. So it's all coming along really well. Our 4 Van Hool buses that were donated by AC Transit, we're pretty much finishing those over the next couple weeks and we'll have them in revenue service. So we have, new tires on them, CAT ABL being installed, radios, we're doing driver training. So those will hopefully be on the road by the end of April. And we're doing a quick kind of decal application to the outside. So they'll look like some of the kind of current paratransit buses are bigger, or some of the vintage Petaluma Transit buses. People remember those and they recognize some of them. Our new flyer buses that are being built are 4 electric ones. Those are still on track, being built in Minnesota. Those will arrive the last week of May, first week of June. So everything's coming along well on those. We bought a new pressure washer rig. Doesn't sound too exciting, but that'll mean our bus stops look a lot cleaner. and we can pressure wash them more readily, more often. So hopefully riders will start seeing the difference there. We're rolling out a new customer service platform. We're actually using the one through MV Transportation. They've kind of developed a new one. So we've been using that for the past couple of weeks, still getting a feel. It seems a big improvement initially beyond what we're using before for how we track our customer comments, complaints, compliments, all those kind of things. Big item is our operation RFP. We're in the final year of our contract with MV Transportation, who provides our bus drivers, mechanics, and all that. The responses are due back today, so we'll see how many responses we get on that and what the prices are. Yeah, fingers crossed, exactly. And we'll let everyone know kind of how that goes, current market state. We, along with several other agencies I know, had Driver Appreciation Day on March 18th. Even beyond drivers, kind of employee appreciation overall for like dispatchers and mechanics. So we recognize that. We're continuing to update the website, still in the early phases of that, working with Optibus. We're currently updating our rider guide. So hopefully in a couple months, when the new version comes out, people will see kind of a new look to that. It'll be a bit simplified and probably have just the schedules as one element. And then kind of the policy guide is like a separate one. So instead of one document that's like super thick, that is everything, we're kind of separating the two. Couple upcoming events worth noting: Butter and Eggs Day, which is our busiest ridership day of the year, Saturday, April 19th. Antique Fair, Sunday, April 27th. Future Fest is on Sunday, May 4th. And then we're working on schedule changes for routes 2 and 11, still figuring out the exact day of the rollout, probably around June, to increase those to 15-minute headways. So, and that's about it. Camille, did I forget anything? If you're online.
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Emily, would you like to give an update on SMART? Yeah, let's see. We're doing systems testing in Windsor. Very exciting. So we've got trains running up to Windsor Station. Our airport station is closed weekends in April to allow us to do systems testing. We're running our Smart Connect vehicle from Santa Rosa North on the weekends up to airport, up to the airport mostly. I didn't want people to get stranded who were coming into the airport. So that's been going okay. The grand opening party is scheduled for June 13th. But I think we'll start service sooner, probably by the beginning of June, for soft launch. Let's see.
June 13th, a weekday?
It is, I think it's a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out of town.
Oh,
I know. They didn't schedule it around me. Isn't that weird?
weird.
I know,
hard to
I was a
account for
little
that.
offended.
Yeah.
Ridership is up. Let's see. March was up 43% over last March.
Nice.
We went out and did sampling in March for youth and seniors because we wanted to compare. We're bringing an item to the board in April to renew the free youth and senior program. So we wanted to compare this March to last March, right before we started the program. Let's see, we've got 17% seniors and 26% youth on board of total boardings. And that was 103% increase over last March. So people love the program. You know, something that's interesting, and maybe I've mentioned this before, is that those percentages, combined percentages to 42%, bring it in line with the actual like census demographics of the two counties combined, which is also 42% youth and seniors. It's kind of nice that it's a good reflection, right, of the population. So that's going to the board next week for renewal for another fiscal year. Okay, let's see. I put a lot of things going on. We are doing a couple of pathway rides to celebrate the opening of the Rohnert Park to Santa Rosa and Petaluma pathways, and those are on the weekend, 24th and 26th and 27th, at 10:30 in the morning. So But they should be pretty low-key, fun events. We're trying to keep the sort of speech making at a minimum and have it just be more of a family-focused, friendly ride, and they're gonna be short. So you should definitely come and bring your kids.
Is there RSVP for those?
Yes,
Show
it's
up.
on our website. You can just show up, but it would be great if you could RSVP. So if you go to our main website, there's a button there that has the information. Let's see if there's anything else. Pathway, Windsor testing. I think I covered it. You know, Giants season has started. We're already seeing tons of people going to the Giants games. We were very crowded this past weekend with the marches. So it's been really busy. That's smart. Yeah. That's all I have. Great, thank you. All right, Dave, would you like to give an update on Golden Gate?
Sure. So for the month of February, bridge traffic is down 3% compared to 2024 February. And there was one more weekday in 2024, so we're not sweating that one, which is good. But bus ridership for February is up 3%, and for ferry, it's up 5%. So we're still seeing an upward trend on our transit service, which is great. We're waiting with bated breath / retirement plans for when Clipper 2.0 launches. But we do need at some point to formalize for Sonoma County our transfer credits. So, you know, on our end, it's going to be Clipper only, but we do, you know, what we can just notify the 3 operators of that, or if you want to have an agreement that's reciprocal or something, now's the time. I think it's like a 60 or 90-day notice. So something like that. So we're flexible, but on our end, it'll be Clipper only. Just because it's too hard to manage, you know, the 12 or 15 different agencies we connect with. And that's
Transfers,
really,
you said?
yeah, for when the free and reduced cost pilot launches, we're going to switch to Clipper only for transfers, interagency transfers, with the exception of Marin Transit, because we're still conjoined at least until roughly the end of the year on.
Yeah, but then it'll go away.
And then it'll go away and be handled the same way as everybody else. And that's really the big stuff for us at the moment.
We've been interviewing just for the fare box. We've been doing a lot of work on this drop fare box. It's a major change. And cash transfers is the trickiest part of the whole thing. And we're even considering whether we will get rid of cash transfers, because there's no really good printed solution if we don't have GFI. But so we've been doing interviews with other agencies, and there's actually quite a few other agencies who've gone to Smart Card as your way to pay, that you get all the benefits. And if you pay with cash, you just pay with cash and you get a ride. And the messaging one of them was using was, your Clipper card is your transfer. Like, you just start talking about, if you want to transfer, you have to get a Clipper card, basically. It's like
Is that AC
kind of a
Transit?
rip the
Is that
Band-Aid off
another-
solution,
they're
but
switching that way.
Hmm?
AC Transit is going that path.
Yeah.
Is that one of the, yeah.
I think San Diego does that too.
yeah, we
Yes.
talked to Community Transit in Washington, Portland, Maine. And several other Bay Area transit agencies actually have no cash transfers, just Clipper transfers. And they've had that for years now.
All right, thank you all. Well, that brings us to other business comments and announcements. All right, not hearing any, we can adjourn. Great. Thank you.